Okay, so this is going to be one of the most fun weeks for you as you work on the bomb project. And I thought maybe it'd be helpful to make a little video to get you started. Again, if you go into the project, you'll see that you are going to be trying to figure out assembly language. And so you're going to have to go to the schizo.cs.byu.edu machines to run it. You'll be using command line to do this. Um, and before you get going, you should go ahead and take a look at the bomb project, which is going to tell you a little bit about what you need to do to get going. Again, I'd encourage you to work through the lab that prepares you for this, but we're just going to try to get you going as quickly as possible. So first you're going to need to go to this URL. You've got to be inside the department or have a VPN to actually access it. And it's going to open up a window that will let you put in your BYU user ID and your email address. Click submit, and it will go ahead and show you how to, it will download a file called bomb.tar. And basically a tar file is going to be a uh, uh, basically an archive file that will have a bunch of files in it that you'll need to kind of do something with. Okay? So once you get that, I would go ahead and copy it over to use SCP to copy that over to your account on one of the Schizo machines. And then we've got to go and do something with it, so you should go ahead and SSH to your account. And once you get over there, you should be able to see that file you've downloaded. Now I've put it into my CS224 directory, but you'll find it in your home directory and you can copy it around after that. So I'm then going to say tar xf this bomb.tar, and it will then create this bomb24 file for you. Okay? Then once you get into there, I'm going to look around, and it has a README that will tell you that this is bomb24. It belongs to me because I downloaded it. If you screw up, you can go get another one, but you just work on one of those. It's then going to have this bomb.c file, and it tells you a little bit about it, about how you're supposed to use it, and it actually has the source file here for main. And so you notice that main is going to go through, he's going to print out this welcome to the bomb lab. He's then going to read a line from the things you type in, and then he's going to call phase 1 on that input. And if it works out, you've diffused that, and you can go on to phase 2. If it doesn't work, then it's going to blow up, and you'll know it. And if you get to the end, then you've diffused it, then you know you've got it working. Okay, so let's figure out how to do something with this, because the other thing here is this bomb. If you say file bomb, then you'll notice that this is a ELF format executable. So this is what you get when you compile a program. And the lab that prepares you for this shows you how to try this out with something that you have compiled yourself. And so when you run this thing, the first thing it's going to tell you is, welcome, you can do something, and then you can type something in like something. And you need to figure out the right thing to type in here. Spelled it wrong, but that's okay. But he will just tell you that you've blown it up. And so now let's try to figure something out here. So the first thing that they're going to tell you is that you need to defuse your bomb. The first thing you need to do is to use strings to figure out what machine you're going to need to use to run this on. Okay, so if you do strings on bomb, then you'll notice that it's got a bunch of stuff in here, and this is going to be real helpful to you in finding stuff. Among other things you're going to find here is a list of machines that it will actually work on. So here's all these machines. As long as you're running on one of those, you're fine. If you happen to land on one of those that's not in that list, we saw Oregon there, you can say SSH to Oregon, and then you'll be on a machine that you can actually run it on. Okay, so it seemed like I got lucky and got one that worked when I went to Schizo. Schizo is a bank of a whole bunch of machines. And so let's just go ahead and do this here. Okay, so now the next thing that you're going to want to do is you're going to want to be able to use GDB to figure out what's going on in your program. And of course, there is a bunch of information on GDB back in this lab prep, and also in this using a debugger. And so what you want to do is go through those before you get going, and they're going to basically tell you you can go ahead, here's how to start a debugger. They're going to have you debug your own program, and here's kind of a GDB primer that's going to show you here's all the commands you can actually use to do something inside of GDB. So let's go ahead, and maybe the first thing we're going to say is let's look at the source code here. So here's the source code, and you'll notice that one of the first things it does is he's going to read a line, and then he's going to call phase 1 with the input you provide. And this, you don't have the source code to this part of the code. It's in a library. And so you're going to have to figure out what that code does by using GDB. Okay? So let's go ahead and say GDB on /bomb. And at this point, he's going to tell you that you can say help, and it'll tell you everything you could possibly want to know about how to run stuff in GDB. I would encourage you to do that. However, we're not going to go through all of that. We are going to notice that if we want to view assembly code, we're going to say layout ASM. And so maybe I want to say layout ASM. And then what it will do is it will give you print the assembly code for where you are. Now, if you remember, we said that, I don't remember, we said that we were looking for this function phase _1. So let's look for that. And I'm going to say GDB bomb, and I'm going to break at phase _1. So it's going to stop when it gets inside of that function. And let's see, what was this I had to say? I had to say layout ASM to see the assembly. So I can say layout ASM, and then I can say run. And so what that will do is it will go, and it's going to stop when it gets into that function that checks to see whether I typed in the right thing. So I'm just going to type in stuff here, and notice it now says I have a breakpoint. I've stopped inside of this function phase _1. And notice it's going to move something from this address into ESI, and then it's going to call strings not equal. Okay? And so now it's basically going to compare what's at this memory address to what I input from the command line. Okay? So what I really want to do then is see what is at that particular address. And so I can take a look at that, copy that, and if we look in here, notice that we can use this X command to display what is at the address. So I can say X slash and maybe 20 characters with a format string, and then put an address in there and it should display something for me. So let me just try that. I can say X slash 20, and I want it to be a string, which is S, and put this address in here, and then we can see what's at what it's going to be comparing stuff. Oh, at that address, there's a string. There are rumors on the internets. Ah, that's what it's going to compare to. So if I type that in, then it's going to work. So let me quit out of here now, or I can just say run again, and I can then paste that in, and then it will tell me, you'll set the breakpoint, I can do continue, and it's then going to say phase 1 is diffused. How about the next one? So now you see that the next thing I want to do is set a breakpoint in phase 2, see what he's going to do in phase 2, and I'll know what to type in to get my bomb to be diffused. And so hopefully this video gave you a little bit of a tip on how to get going on the lab. Let me know if you have some more questions and I can make another video, but I'm trying to keep these short. Good luck on diffusing your bomb and saving the world.